So yesterday I reminded you that this is a pretty critical skill for solving, and that's all this stuff so far has been reviewed, and solving is kind of what starts Algebra 1 high school, which I know you've done before, but that's kind of where we start our actual curriculum. But this kind of stuff has got to be pretty smooth in order for that to work out. So we'll probably do some more today. We'll see how this went. First thing to do here is get rid of these parentheses. And remember to include the sign when you distribute so that you get your signs correct in the result. 9n was it just gets copied. Negative 4 times negative 5 is what? Plus 20. And then negative 4 times negative 3n is plus 12n, right? Okay. Quick word about sign. If that's something that you're going to mess up when you're solving, what should you do? Like, let's say you put minus 20 here. What should you do? Get a freaking calculator, right? Get a calculator. We can't be waiting around for you to do 7th grade skills every day. So get a calculator if negative 4 times negative 5 is a problem so that you can do the algebra solving. Make sense? Okay. And then hopefully as you go, that skill will grow with you and you'll be able to do more of it in your head. So just my point is we don't want to get algebra problems wrong because of something we could have done on a calculator. But we also don't want to have a calculator for little stupid things like 8 minus 2 or something. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. What about now? What do we do? Combine like terms. Somebody said it. Good job. Does it matter what order these are in?
Yes. No.
Mathematically not. But we do typically put the letters first and then constants at the end. So I'll ask you about that in a second. Okay, here we have to distribute twice and be careful because we have this negative 2. So distribute, and then the 5 distribute 3 times. So A just gets copied down, nothing happened to it. And then we get what here? Okay, negative 2 times negative C plus 2C. So those negatives multiplying make a positive. Okay, and then 5A, 5B, and negative 5C. 14 also just gets copied down. When you have long ones like this, where terms are kind of spread out, it can be easy to miss them. So just take your time and look. Maybe even if you're someone who feels like you might mess that up, maybe color code them with a colored pencil or something. Like I see 2 C terms, I see 2 A terms, and we do 2 B terms. And so now you're kind of looking, oh hey, that's what matches up, and it helps you to not make mistakes. So let's pull these A terms. What is A plus 5A?
6.
Okay. And then let's do B. Let's do B a little bit further left. Okay. Negative 2B plus 5B is 3B. Remember this 2B is negative, so negative 2 plus 5 is 3. And now we have the C terms. 2C plus negative 5C. Negative 3C. And then the lonely little 14 at the end who has no friends. Can we do anything else? No, because A's, B's, and C's are not like terms with each other. And then 14 has no letters, so it's not a like term either. So 0, 1, or 2. Hold up, how many you got correct? Okay, so mostly we're probably averaging like a 1.5 on this. That's probably good enough for now. Grab your homework paper and let's check answers on that.
Sure, yes, sir.
Here's how we'll do this, at least today, and sometimes it'll be different, but a lot of times I'll show you all the answers, and so you see how it went, and then we can go back and talk through any that you need to ask about. So this is going to be a little bit of a process because there's a lot to read here. So let's just get into it. I can get it zoomed over here. Okay, so I don't know, is it helpful if I read it to you?
Yes.
There it is, okay. Alright, well, I'll just read it. 7 minus 56n. Number 3, negative 54 plus 54v. Number 5, negative 9n minus 54. 7 is negative 45k plus 90. Number 9, negative 6x minus 14. Number 11, 18 plus 42v. Number 13, 71n minus 32. Number 15, 27 minus 50k. This thing is so stupid. Look how hard it is to see the scroll bar when I... You see that? Alright, now I'm lost.
I'm lost.
18, I don't know where we left off. Let's start on 13. 71n minus 32. 15, 27 minus 50k. 17 is negative 35. Nice, that one simplified a lot. 19, 42m plus 116. And 21, negative 24x plus 49. Any of those you'd like to do? Yeah.
Number 15.
15.
I'm lost.
Why?
All mine.
They were all wrong?
Besides the last two.
Okay. So this is the problem number, but we need to distribute the negative 5. Negative 5 times 1 and negative 5 times 2k. Same with the 8. Negative 8 times negative 4 is what? 32. And then negative 8 times 5? Negative 40k. Alright, combining like terms, we have some k's and some constants. So negative 5 and 32 is 27. And negative 10 and negative 40 is negative 50. Does order matter this time?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a yes and no question as long as you're careful with sign. How could I rewrite this with the k term first and still have it be correct?
Negative 50k plus 27.
Alright, so just keep that negative sign with the 50k and you're okay. Okay? Any others you'd like to do? Yeah. Also, can you take your earbud and put it in your backpack? That needs to be in your backpack. So next time I'm taking it to the office, okay? What was the problem number? 17. Let's do it. Alright. Distribute. Oh, not that far. And distribute. So we get negative 5x minus 10. So negative times positive, and then positive 5x minus 25. Okay, what's negative 5x plus 5x?
0.
Yeah, that's 0. 0x, which is just 0. And then these two become negative 35. Let's circle both of these. Okay, others? Go ahead. 19, okay. Is it still on here? What is the problem with this thing? Screen work? Maybe I'll do it over here. Alright, let's see if it's gonna work. Yeah. So we get 9m plus 72. Give it a second. Guys, sometimes this thing is old. Takes a second to work. Are you seeing patterns, distribute and combine? Like we could basically summarize all these that same way. Alright, let's see if it's ready. Yeah, it's still kind of in trouble. Okay, 9 plus 33 is 42. And then 72 plus 144, what do we have there? 106, 116. Okay. Jackson, so you said you struggled on it. Is this helping? I mean,
Yes.
should be looking at like where you went wrong.
I got that one right.
Any others? Right, what were you gonna say? So how do you feel like he was nice enough to share how he did? How about the rest of you? If this was a quiz, let's rate it fist to 5. 5 like really, really good, fist, yeah, bad. Let's see it. Okay. Alright, well, yeah, it seems to be either grouping it like the 4 5s or the 2. There wasn't a lot of 3s. And that's okay. If you are somebody who this didn't go well for, are you seeing any patterns in your errors? Like maybe it's the multiplying, or maybe it's the addition and subtraction stuff. Yeah? So again, we want to get to the point where you can do that in a lot of it in your head, but use a calculator. Don't get it wrong when you know the math behind it and the numbers just get off a little. Okay? Questions on it? That's a very wordy title, isn't it? Solving linear equations with variables on one side. What does the word linear mean? Okay, if we graph it, it's a straight line. In fact, you can see line as part of the root of that. So yeah, that's true. How does a linear equation look? If I just wrote an equation up here, how would you know if it's linear or not linear? Anybody know that? Okay. Here's the easiest way to tell, and it's not a shortcut. It's actually the best way. For example, let's say I put this. Is that a linear equation? Does it graph to a line? So I'm seeing some thumbs up. Okay. Let's change it slightly. Is that a linear equation? Does it graph to a line? Okay. Is that a linear equation? Okay, not so sure on that one. And we'll just leave it at that. So this first one is linear. Actually, I should write the word linear instead of making it weird. Yeah. This one is non-linear, and so is the last one. Okay, so what do you notice just in looking at the equations, the letters specifically? What do you notice is different between a linear and a non-linear?
They have exponents.
Okay, so both of the bottom two, something is up in the exponent, and so that could be the problem, right? Do the two letters in the first one have exponents? This is a little bit of a misleading question. Can I assume there's an exponent on that x in the first equation? Yes, I can, but what is the exponent?
X.
It would have to be a 1, right? In other words, let's just think through this. What is 5 to the first power? It's just 5. So if you see a 5 by itself, you could think of it as 5 to the first power. Agreed?
Yes.
Here, that's still true even on the letter. So x to the first is just x, y to the first is just y. So the way you know if an equation is linear is if all the variables have the power of 1. Or, like Caleb said, you can't see an exponent. If you can't see an exponent, it is linear. Okay? And you guys are right, and we're going to get into all those depths and details of lines and graphing and slope and equations and all that stuff. But for now, we're working on solving. So linear variables have a power of 1. Let's actually go write this in your notes. So we'll put what you guys said first, graphs as a straight line. More to come on that later. We don't really worry about that in this first section, this first unit too much. In this section, this is the more important one. All variables are to the first power. Which means you won't see them. Okay. I would underline the word variable because the numbers can have exponents. That doesn't matter. It's the variables that matter. Okay, so the variables have to have the first power. Everybody good on the word exponent and all that stuff?
Yes.
Good. Good job. So when we say solving linear equations, let's put one up here and see how you feel about it. I'm going to come back to that. So here's one. Don't shout anything out, but I want you, before we even do this, give me a thumb on your confidence with solving for t in this case. Okay. Alright, so we're going to talk through those 3 steps as a strategy for solving. And I will tell you, this is a critical skill to have for the next 3 years of math in high school. And more if you continue on. So you solve all throughout algebra, all throughout geometry, and all throughout algebra 2. And then again after that you still solve stuff. So we really are building a really important foundation, a really critical one. What do I mean by undo? So this is the cycle, right? So cycle because we say repeat, we undo, then balance, and then do it again if we need to. What do I mean by undo, do you think?
Subtract 25 from 50.
Okay, but why?
So that you only have t and
Okay.
the 15t.
So he's speaking to our goal, which is to get the variable by itself, right? What were you going to say? Okay. So he said subtract 25. Why? Why not add it? Why not divide it? Why not something else?
Because that gets rid of 25 from this side and you move it over to the next side of the equation.
Okay, good.
Equal sign.
So I agree. I like to use the word get rid of also, the phrase. And that's what I mean by undo. I mean get rid of. So I want to get rid of the 25 and it says plus, so minus 25 does that. That's what I mean by undo. Okay, what do I mean by balance then? Balance. Sometimes thinking of a seesaw or teeter-totter or whatever. Luis, what were you going to say? Okay, go ahead. Great. Customer.
Maybe
Ella, sorry, I'm supposed to call you Ella.
maybe that both sides like equal the same.
Okay, yes. And what were you going to say?
We'll do the same to each side and also maybe divide.
Yep, next. Okay, so let's, if I do this, let me change color so it stands out better. We said let's get rid of that 25. If I just take that off, Ella says we need to keep the value equal. If I take 25 off the right, is it equal anymore? Okay, so that's what we mean by balance. Think of like a balancing scale or a seesaw. If somebody gets off, the thing crashes, right? It's not balanced. So we have to do the same thing to both sides. All right, well that takes care of one step. Now what? Yeah, Eliana. Okay. So again, our goal is to get t by itself.
Divide by 15. Okay.
So go ahead.
Divide by 15.
Yeah. Why are we dividing? Why not subtract? Before you answer that, we did a cycle of undo balance. Now we're ready to repeat it. So we're back to undo. So we are undoing what, Louise?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. That's okay.
Brings to get rid of 15 so we can leave the variable alone.
Yes, perfect. Get rid of the 15 so the variable is by itself. I mean, we want to end up down here at t equals. Awesome. You remembered?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's like the nice part. I was gonna say, you can't subtract it because they're two different, I forgot the word for it, but, it's 15t and 15 and they want to go into each other. So
Okay. I
balance.
think the word maybe you're looking for is operations.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to see?
I was going to say, so how we did with the 25, since it was a positive, we subtracted it, and since we're dividing it, it should be multiplication. So
Yeah, so good job. What is going on right here between 15 and t? Operations wise, add, subtract, multiply, divide, square root, exponent. That's multiplication. So to undo multiplication, what do we do? Divide. Okay, I have just undone. Now we need to balance, so now we do it on the other side. Do not show division with the division sign. Okay? We're showing it with the bar, with the fraction bar, and like high school math. Oh, this does not equal a whole number. Does that mean we're wrong?
No.
Okay. So come down here, your next line would say 25/15. And what do you do with that? What was it?
I said, just leave it.
Is it wrong to leave? Is that a wrong answer? No,
Yes.
it isn't. No, I'm glad you're taking risks. Good job. It isn't wrong, but it isn't great, because what else could we do to it? Yeah, we could simplify it now. You want to know something interesting? Well, before I say that, let's do. 5 goes into both of these, so this is 5/3 in lowest terms. Do you agree? Here's something interesting. Speaking back to like, if you're trained up to high school, you gotta reduce. Otherwise it's wrong. In AP, this answer is fine. You don't have to reduce it, like on your AP test. AP meaning like in my AP calculus class. If they put this, it's actually totally fine, and they don't have to simplify it down. It's fine if you do, but it's also often fine if it isn't simplified. What I don't want to see you do is turn it into a decimal, because that's unnecessary, right? Okay, I want you to notice a couple things in the way we talk through this. Notice everything is focused on the variable. So everything we did started with that side. We got rid of 25, we got rid of 15, and then everything we did to the other side was just to balance. We never started over here and worked toward the variable. Does that make sense? So everything is driven to getting that thing by itself. And I know this is a very basic problem, but it helps us with familiar numbers, familiar look. It helps us talk through the process we're going to use on harder stuff. Okay? So definitely this is going to have more numbers in it and different things. What does solve mean? Like, we just solved an equation. What the heck does that even mean? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think, what does solve an equation mean? And please don't say get an answer, because it's definitely deeper than that. So I don't want any talking for 15 seconds. We're going to just think, what do you think solve an equation actually means? Starting now. Okay, now turn and tell somebody what you think. What's your version, Jack? Jack, Declan, you guys sit up and be part of this. So what does solve mean? Tell somebody. Solve, what does that even mean? I said it's not just getting an answer, Levi.
Figuring out what's the problem.
Okay, so that kind of implies a process, figuring out the problem. It's definitely usually a process. What did you think?
So I thought of the word solvent, and that basically dilutes things, right? You're basically diluting the equation to its most simplest form,
Okay.
which is just one number.
Yeah, he said the word solvent. Have you ever heard of that word? Okay. We're working down to the simplest form, I guess. Jesus, what did you say? Okay. It's okay. What was that? Yeah. All right, let's look at it. We figured out that t was 5/3 or 25/15. And yes, we call that the answer, the solution, those kind of things. But how do we know if this is actually the right answer and actually is the solution? There's something that it does to the equation that helps us to know that. Abby, you guys are packing up. Are we getting close? Yeah.
You can replace it with the T and just times that by the T.
And what should be, don't pack up, we're almost there. What should be true if I plug 5/3 into that equation? That right side better be 50, right? Is really making the equation true. That's all. We're figuring out what to do to make it true. We're going to skip, don't pack up just now. Like when I'm talking, I prefer you to not. We're going to skip homework tonight, but please remember your Chromebook for tomorrow. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir.
All right. Good job today.
Thanks.